this is Sam and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to continue our saga on my relationships, my love life, and how I feel about it. So here you have my first video where I talk about how I feel and what I think about relationships as someone who's never been in one. And here you have one on a couple of funny stories about my love life. Now today I want to talk about open relationships, but before we do that, it would be amazing if you could like this video, subscribe to my channel, and also leave a comment, because I'd love to hear what you think about this very controversial topic. Now, why do I even want to talk about it? Open relationships are very, very common in the gay world, and since we live in a society that is constantly opening up to different ways of living life, I think it might be something worth talking about. And I know that as soon as someone mentions open relationships, people have negative thoughts about them, but I don't think that should be the case. Again, all my opinions and this whole video is based on nothing other than speculation, because again, I've never been in a relationship, closed or open, so this is just guesswork for me. But since I'm part of the gay world and I can see both options, so closed relationships and open relationships, I've learned a lot from the outside, and I thought we should discuss it. Again, we all know that open relationships are predominantly accepted and normalized in the gay world. In straight couples, it's still a bit of a taboo. Now, we all know that most people cheat. That's statistically true. But that doesn't make the relationship open. Obviously, an open relationship is where both partners sit down and agree that they can meet other people to some extent. If you cheat, obviously that implies that the other partner is not aware and is not part of this plan, so you do it quite literally behind their back when it hasn't been agreed that it's allowed. So how do I feel about open relationships? Obviously, I grew up thinking that, to be honest, I didn't even know that open relationships were a thing. So I grew up thinking that, if you find the one, even if it's not the one, but when you are in a relationship, it has to be exclusive. And again, I didn't even know that there was a possible second option. And even when I moved here and started exploring the gay world, I still thought that I didn't see any harm in open relationships. I just didn't think they were for me. But as I'm growing older, there is a lot to be said. So most of my friends are in a relationship, and now I am going to I'm going to make this about the gays, and then we will talk about the straights. And obviously I have even less experience in that world, but I'll see what I can do. So most of my gay friends are in a relationship of some sort, and I have 3 couples who I'm very close to. 2 of them are in a closed relationship, and 1 of them is in an open relationship. So I can see the pros and cons of both, again, from the outside, so I don't really know what happens behind closed doors. Now, I think, first of all, we should talk about the logistics of an open relationship. There are different kinds of open relationships. There are like fully open relationships where both partners agree that they can do whatever they want with whoever they want. Obviously, we're talking about sex. When we talk about open relationships, it is just about sex. If you want to open the couple up to extra love partners, as in emotional love, that would be a throuple, for example. So 3 people who all love each other, so instead of living as a couple, they live as a trio, a throuple, but that involves love. And also you have polyamorous couples where the 2 people might be the primary couple, which includes love and sex, but then they give each other permission to find other people, not just for sex but also for love. So they will have the main partner and an extra boyfriend, an extra 2 boyfriends, depending on how resilient they are, because it takes a lot of work, I would assume. Again, as crazy as some of these things may sound to you, as long as it's all agreed beforehand, that's how some people like to live, and I see nothing wrong with it, again, as long as everyone is on the same page. But when we talk about an open relationship, at least in my opinion, what I think about is just emotional connection between 2 people, only 2 people, and then sex with extra participants every now and then. So there are like extremely open relationships where you can do it how both people are allowed to do whatever they want with whoever they want, whenever, wherever. So I know, actually no, well, I have another couple that I know. So they've just got married. They are fully open in the sense that they would go out together and they would start flirting with other people independently, but they both know it's happening, that they're both in the same place. So let's say there are no secrets, there is no shame, so they just do it openly in broad daylight. There are other couples, like the open one that I have, where one of them, so they both know the other member of the couple is free to do whatever he wants, but one of them doesn't want to hear about it. It's like don't ask, don't tell kind of situation. He's okay with his boyfriend doing what he does, but he doesn't really want to hear about it. Whereas my friend, so he is my primary friend, and I know his boyfriend through him, he would love to know what his boyfriend gets up to. So this is another way of doing it. There are rules. Some people have rules, some people don't have rules. I mean, strict rules. So for example, in some open couples, you're allowed to sleep with an extra person only once, and you can't see them again, because then the couple might be worried that feelings might develop. There are couples that don't have that problem, so you can see the same sex partner basically as many times as you want. Sometimes they play with this 3rd person together, so boyfriend and boyfriend get another guy and have fun as a threesome. So again, as long as you're happy, as long as you also, I don't think you really know what you want when you first get into an open relationship for the first time, so I think you might have to experiment and explore what you're comfortable with, what you're not comfortable with. But I suppose, yes, the main factor is that you need to be open about it with your partner, and the moment you see that you are both allowing each other to do something that you're not comfortable with, I think you have to say something, because obviously the risk is big. Now, obviously, jealousy, I think, is still involved in an open relationship, because you just want the other one to have sex with other people, but you want to avoid any kind of emotional involvement. But it's a different kind of jealousy from the type that we all know. So this is the experience that I have with with open relationships. So what I can see with my eyes, through my friends, and through what I hear. So again, when I was younger, I was against open relationships, but I have to be honest, now I'm not. I don't know what kind of partner I would be. I don't know how jealous I would be. So again, I'm basing all of this on speculation. I am worried that I might be more jealous than I think I am. So yeah, we'll only find out if I ever get in a relationship. And I've always thought this: I wouldn't want to start a relationship with someone who I know for a fact that already now on our first date knows and tells me that he wants to be in an open relationship 100%. I'm not sure I would like to have that pressure, because again, as someone as inexperienced as I am, I want to have the time to explore what I can and what I can't do, and what I can and what I can't tolerate. Again, there's nothing wrong with wanting a closed relationship or an open relationship. If someone can't tolerate the idea of their partner having sex with someone else, I don't think they should beat themselves up for it. I don't think they should try to force themselves to like an open relationship. No, if you can't do it, you can't do it. But because I don't know that, I don't want to know that an open relationship will have to be given to my partner 100%. The same way, I'm now starting to think that I don't think I would want to be with someone who is 100% convinced that he wants only a closed relationship, because that would put just as much pressure on me as the impending demand for an open relationship would. But I know that what I'm asking for is actually quite, it's a lot. Because I don't know what I can give. So I think it's almost unfair of me to ask someone to be open to all possibilities when I don't know if I am. But again, since I don't have experience, this is where I'm at the moment. So I would like to be with someone who would be open to an open relationship in case I feel open to it, but I don't want either style to be 100% imposed on me. But again, maybe I'm just being greedy and I just need to explore more. I wish I had the experience that I need to know what I like, so I could get into a relationship knowing that I want a close relationship only, or that I want an open relationship only. I wish I had that kind of knowledge in me, brought by having had boyfriends in the past, but that's not the case. But that's another problem. So, why have I reconsidered open relationships. So, I don't really like generalizations in general, but I also, as I always say, stereotypes are built on truth. So, it is true that most gay men have a higher sex drive. Now, surely, I mean, maybe there is a scientific reason for it. I don't know, I'm not interested in that enough to even look into it, but be it scientifically proven or not, gay men, from what I can see, and from some of the videos that you've watched on this channel, gay men have a higher sex drive in general. Yeah, obviously there are exceptions. There are, for a lot of gay guys, sex is very important, not just as a way of expressing love for their partner, but also as a brutal, animalistic act. Straight people seem to have a bit more control in general. Obviously, again, we have affairs, and we have, what affairs imply love as well. But so, without talking about love, obviously people can brutally cheat on a brutally animalistic level as well. But maybe it is a bit less extreme than the gays. Again, why that is, I don't know. And we're going on this journey together. If you've been following my channel for a while, I mean, even this, I talk about sex a lot on this channel, and it was never my intention, and of all the people on this planet that I would expect to talk about sex on YouTube, I am the last person on earth that I thought would ever do this, because yes, I like sex, but my life doesn't revolve around it. But I am exploring it more. I am exploring the idea of allowing myself to enjoy it as a concept. So, of allowing myself to not feel guilty about it and all of that. Yeah, then if I have it, I have it. If I don't, it's fine. But yes, the fact that I started going to dark rooms, gay cruises where there is a lot of sex, if you want it. You don't have to have it, but it's there if you want it. It's more of a mental thing for me. So the fact that I'm allowing myself to not feel guilty or dirty or filthy or wrong or bad for just wanting a bit of physical pleasure, that's the learning curve. The physical act is very easy to obtain, so that's not the problem. So what I've realised is that gay men are more in touch with what they want physically, and they are more aware of it, and they accept it more. So as a gay guy myself, I know that we like sex a little bit more than other people. So if I meet you as my potential gay boyfriend, I know that you feel the same. So there is a mutual understanding on where we're at. Now, in close relationships, both partners agree that although they might have these extra urges, because again, not everyone feels that way, they agree that for them, sex comes with a bit more than just a brutal physical act. So, and they can't tolerate it because they're jealous, because they want their partner to be just theirs, and I think that's beautiful. But at the same time, I don't see anything wrong with acknowledging the fact that because we are more animal-like in that respect maybe than straight people, there's no point in fighting it. And again, I think that jealousy is not, you can work on being a bit less jealous when jealousy becomes possession, and that needs work. But to be honest, as I said before, if you're born jealous enough to not be able to condone or tolerate an open relationship. Again, there's nothing wrong with it, and I don't think there is anything you can do about it. And to be honest, I don't think there is anything that you should do about it. You shouldn't try to work on that. You shouldn't try to force yourself to allow your boyfriend to have sex with strangers if your heart and your brain can't take it. No. So yes, you're either born with it or you're not. But the funny thing is that these two closed couples that I know, they are closed, very closed. But I know that over the years they have talked about potentially opening things up. Now I don't know where that led, but at least one of the couple brought it up. So even the fact that they discussed it means that there is an interest, there is a bit of intrigue there. Which I find curious. And the reason why, so the open couple that I know, I really love their relationship. It's very unusual, not just because, the fact that they're open is the least unusual thing. So they see each other very, very rarely, maybe once a week. They're very busy. It's not that they don't want to see each other, but they're very busy, and also they're very independent. They do not want to live together. And that's another thing that I appreciate, because I've been alone my whole life. Well, I used to live with my parents, but yeah, they're my family. I've been alone my whole life, and to be honest, I am not sure. First of all, I'm not even sure I'm built for any kind of romantic relationship, and then I'm not sure I would be able to live with someone. And the idea that now that you can decide not to live with someone gave me a lot of peace, I have to say. I knew that some celebrities already did it, but it was nice to hear it from a friend that I actually know. You just need to be lucky to find a partner who is on board. Obviously, most couples want to live together, so yeah, there is a lot of logistics that need to be discussed. But you can get there. And he told me so my friend told me one thing about the reason why their relationship is open. So not only do they actively want to have fun with other people whenever it happens, it's not like they sleep. The reason why they don't see each other often is not that they are busy sleeping with other people. They're just busy with life, and then if it does happen and they meet someone else, it's fine, but that's not their primary goal. So my friend told me that the main deep reason behind his decision of wanting an open relationship is the fact that if one night he drinks a bit too much and he ends up sleeping with a stranger because he can't really control himself, mentally rather than just physically, he doesn't want to wake up the day after devoured by guilt because he's cheated on his boyfriend, because it was a mistake. And you know what? Although I don't drink, so I don't know, I don't understand that idea, I can see the logic behind that, because if you do drink to the point where you can't even think straight, seriously, then yes, ending a relationship because you cheated on your boyfriend when you genuinely didn't even mean to, so there was no malice. I can see that. If it's different if I'm fully sober now and I go on Grindr and find another guy to cheat on my boyfriend with, so there is malice there. So my boyfriend if we are in a close relationship, has every right to want to end the relationship. But I also understand that, yes, if you're so drunk that you're not in control of your own actions, it would be a shame to end a relationship. Obviously, I'm not saying that the boyfriend shouldn't be angry if it is a close relationship, but obviously, yes, I can see that. And then, yes, now, well, my friend also does want to have consensual fun with other people. I meant conscious. So he wants to be conscious when he's having fun. And of course, all of this sex that I'm talking about is consensual. Please don't get me demonetized. So I understand that. And based on the fact that even, and this now applies to the straights, based on the fact that most relationships end, especially in the straight world, because of sex had with friends that are not involved in the relationship, maybe opening the relationship is the answer. Because again, if it's just sex that we're talking about, if we accept the fact that we are animals, which we are, gay or straight, I see the point and I see the benefit of allowing each other to have sex with other people. And I think that's healthy because it removes the idea of imprisonment. And I know that that's not how you should look at a relationship, but it is a kind of prison. It's a happy prison, but once you're in it, I mean, of course you can always get divorced, but that's beside the point. But the commitment that a relationship requires of a human being is a lot. It's full commitment mentally and emotionally and physically in closed relationships. And whilst I think it's more rare for people to want to have multiple love relationships, so there aren't many polyamorous people out there, or at least not as many as monoamorous people, if that's a word. So I think I can see the jealousy of, if someone falls in love with someone, if your partner falls in love with someone else, I can see the jealousy there. But if we all agree that we are all animals and we all need some kind of physical release that doesn't necessarily have to come from the same person, I think that would make this prison only a happy prison. So I'm happy to commit to the emotional and mental prison that the relationship entails, but then the one thing that is the least impactful, I can just be myself with. Because that's a thing. If you really think about, again, maybe the minute I fall in love, I'll be so jealous that I won't even want my boyfriend to look at other men just, walking on the street. So this could all be, crap that I'm talking here. But if it's just a physical act, why should that impact on the emotional and mental life that you've built with someone? Yeah. And I've mentioned this in my other video about scandals and why having an affair is such a big thing. Well, it's considered something that would ruin your reputation. I'm not saying that having an affair is nice, also because usually having an affair entails love, and that's bad, but I don't think that should affect my opinion of you as a worker, for example. Yeah, it's, if the TV series that I'm watching called Scandal is about a love affair that the President of the United States has with someone, but the fact that he has an affair doesn't affect his ability to do his job. So even if it does come out, obviously his family will suffer, and I'm not trying to downplay that or or anything like that, but does that make him a bad worker? No. So yeah. So I don't know. I know that basically the more I talk, the more I'm convincing. It sounds like I'm trying to convince you that open relationships are the way forward. I have to say, based on all the evidence that I see, it might be. I might think that it might be. I'm still not 100% on board, and I can't fully confirm it simply because I don't have any first-hand experience. But yes, I think having an open relationship that only involves external sex takes away a lot of unnecessary pressure from the couple. It also adds a little bit of spice, and this is something that I want to talk about in a different video, about being bored and boring in a relationship. I think it can keep things interesting to the point where you may also want to bring the third person into the couple, just for sex, but so as a threesome. It doesn't have to be like that all the time. Again, some couples don't want that, some couples do. Some couples actually only want that, so some couples only play together. So on Grindr, for example, you will find a lot of guys that say they are in a relationship and they only play as a couple, so the boyfriend has to be involved. They do not allow each other to have one-on-one sex with someone else. That's a rule that works for them, and that's great, because maybe they want to be there when it's happening, because they want to make sure there is no extra emotional involvement, and I completely understand that. And I made a video on dark rooms, and a gay guy, said that he utterly despises this aspect of the gays because they only want sex, and there is no emotional connection, there is no true the one. I can see that. I can absolutely see that. But at the same time, so yes, if I think about it, the idea of having an open relationship immediately, again, as someone who's never had anything remotely close to any kind of relationship, it immediately removes the kind of the idea of romance, because my brain automatically makes me think that there is less of an emotional involvement if we allow each other to sleep around. But I think that's one of those prudish constructs that were instilled in us at birth. I am not sure that would be the case, or at least not for everyone. So yes, I can't confirm or deny that, but I don't think that would be 100% accurate for most people. I think, again, once you accept that we just want a bit more sex, you can just get past it very easily without dwelling on it or without letting it affect the rest of your relationship, because as I said earlier, I think once we understand that sex is just brutal animalistic act. Sometimes it lasts very very long, sometimes it doesn't at all, so it can also be done very quickly, so it almost has literally no impact on your life. So yeah, and again, remember that when I say open relationship, I'm talking about, you know, two people having sex with other people, but then always coming home to each other. There is no love going anywhere else. And going back to my friends in a closed relationship, there is one thing that I don't like, and this sort of applies to straight couples as well. So I like clubbing. When I go clubbing, I don't go clubbing to pull, because I do not want anyone to talk to me, because if I like the music, I'm a dancer, I want to dance. I do not want anyone to come and interrupt me and talk to me, because I don't want to miss my songs here. But I understand that most people go clubbing to pull, straight or gay. And especially straight people, straight men, they stop going clubbing once they found a girlfriend, because they may not necessarily like clubbing, which is absolutely fine. And now the clubbing has served its purpose, there's no point in going anymore. But I see that a lot of people deprive themselves of some pleasures in life because they're terrified that that might bring temptation. So yeah, my friends who are in a relationship go clubbing less. I don't, to be honest, in their case, I don't think it's because they don't want to be tempted, but just because they are happy doing things together, and they don't particularly like clubbing anymore, also because they're a bit older than me. But this year I went on my second gay cruise, and I have a video here, and a friend of mine was supposed to come, and this friend is part of one of these two closed relationships. When he booked it, he was single. So he'd broken up with his ex-boyfriend, then he was single, and then he got back together with him, so they're together now. When he booked it with me, he was single, and he wanted to go on this gay cruise to have all sorts of fun, if you know what I mean. But then when he got back together with his boyfriend, he cancelled the cruise because he said, well, Sam, I don't want to pay all that money to go on a cruise and only have half of the fun, because obviously we are in a close relationship and I can't sleep around. Now, I understand that also. I mean, the temptation is there because it's a ship full of 3,000 gay men. So, I mean, that is temptation, I understand. But because that cruise specifically is not all about sex, I was actually quite sad that he didn't come, because I think he missed out, because I think he should have come just for the fun of the cruise. Now, this specific cruise was a bit boring this year, so I think he did the right thing. But because he didn't want to be away from his boyfriend, and he thought that he would think about him all the time, he would think that he'd wish he were there. I'm sure, obviously, there's nothing wrong with wishing that your boyfriend were there with you, but for 10 days on this amazing ship and experience, I think you should still have done it. And my other couple, yes, they say that they do not want to do a gay cruise because, yes, there is too much temptation, so they'd rather do a straight cruise. Now, I understand that you want to avoid temptation, but also I mean, you will always find temptation if you go clubbing here in London. You will find temptation. Then it's up to you to avoid it or to resist it if it comes your way. I understand that going on a gay cruise is basically asking for a disaster to happen, because if you go clubbing on Saturday night, you just want to dance, and then yes, it's almost a coincidence that there will be other gay guys. But that's a white knight thing. But deciding to go on a cruise for 10 days with 3,000 gay guys around you, I can see how that's a bit more intense. But I don't know. Well, if you're in a close relationship, you will always have temptation around you, and you will always have to resist it. So why deny yourself the pleasure of a cruise? Yes, you can go for a straight cruise, but I don't know. I don't know what to think about the fact that if you are in a close relationship, because you need to preserve it, rightly so, you need to deprive yourself of some things that you might enjoy. Also, I understand that once you make that commitment, you are happy to make those sacrifices. So, to the point where they might look like sacrifices to me as a single person, but they may not even feel like that to you. So for you, it would be normal to say, oh no, I don't do that anymore because now I have a boyfriend. But again, I think, yes, there is a lot of, again, imprisonment, unnecessary imprisonment that comes with being in a closed relationship. I hope I've made my point clear. I've been trying for 30-40 minutes, so I've definitely said a few things. If I can think of something else to say, I will make another video about it. But yes, my conclusion is that, again, I have no experience, so I can't really tell you which way I would go for. But I have to be honest, from what I can see around me in straight and gay couples, an open relationship which only allows for extra sex might be an option. Oh, I forgot to say this. Actually, my straight friend, so I have this straight girl friend, and she told me that with her first boyfriend that she ever had a long time ago, they decided to open the relationship. And she said that they only did it because, well, they wanted to see what kind of impact it would have on the relationship. And they said that because they now knew that it wasn't a taboo, it wasn't prohibited to have sex with other people, they never had sex with other people, because that removed the taste of danger. So that can also be another thing. You know that you can do things, but maybe just knowing that you can stops you from wanting to. I don't know, food for thought. And on that note, I will let you go, and do let me know what you think. If you are in any kind of relationship, let me know how you feel about it, why you want it that way. And yes, let me know if you've experimented with both options and why you then opted for one over the other. And I will let you go, and I'll see you soon.